Hey, what's up YouTube? Thank you for watching Killing for Company. My name is Kellen, and today we're just going to do sort of a vinyl update, stuff I've been listening to as of late. So, in the background, we are listening to Chrome Ghost, and this is entitled The Diving Bell, off of Seeing Red Records. I believe it was a 2019 release, but Seeing Red picked it up in 2020. Could be wrong about that, but let me turn it up here all a second. Okay, so first up, Urfaust. So this is entitled, I believe it's pronounced Teufelsgeist or Teufelsgeist. If you are not familiar with Urfaust, please get to know this project. They play a brand of black metal and ambient that is truly unique. I would say they're peerless, like no one else is doing this. And they're so good at it. I mean, I would probably compare them in terms of being masters of atmosphere to a band like Ruins of Everest. So this came on kind of a cool marbled ivory, if you will, through Van Records, and it sort of snuck in at the end of 2020, so I think it probably would have appeared on more end of year lists if it had come out earlier in the year, but nonetheless, this record, back in their catalog, I would say is pretty dark. It's almost like depressive, or it's not nearly as sort of like transcendental and sort of this like celestial walk that some of their, like the Consolatory Practice, which the previous full length was a bit more uplifting, and this is definitely a darker in tenor. What's interesting is like the vocals are so opaque that it ties into that ambient nature. The drums and the bass are the part of the band that will sort of slowly guide you through the room. Otherwise, you really have no idea, you know, looking around, you aren't able to find exactly where the sound's coming from. It all sort of blends together into this singular sort of shapeless room that you inhabit. And the guitars, it's almost like someone's panning a flashlight across the wall. It just comes across in a streak, and you just see sort of like the sheets of metal. It's got like an industrial sort of tenor to the guitar tone, so very much an ambient record. You could call it experimental if you want to. If you just like dark sound and like you're able to experience that kind of inhabit that dark space, you should really check out Urfaust. Their previous, releases are also worth your time. So if you want something a little bit more adventurous by comparison to a lot of the more atmospheric black metal that you may listen to, check out Urfaust. Can't recommend them enough. Next up, this is Mongrels Cross. This album's entitled Arcana, Scrying, and Revelations, and they're an Australian band playing a black thrash combination. Proscriptor from Apsu is handling the vocal and guitar duties here, or one of the two guitarists in the band. This one stood out. Hold on, before I got a whole lot of colored vinyl for you today. So this one's kind of like a blue-green combo. I'm gonna call it like emerald there. Pretty cool. So it is a black thrash record, but it's very melodic. Now, for a black thrash record, and it also very much a mid-paced record. So, as a consequence, it ended up being incredibly memorable for me. They just know how to, you know, bring enough intensity to establish themselves as a black thrash project, but at the same time, you get these nice open spaces where the lead guitar work and the soloing can really stand out. And that paired with sort of the melodic nature of the project, it was one of the best thrash albums of the year for me. I could go back to it and just let it spin, and you just could remember each song, and it's immediately approachable and enjoyable. So if you like black thrash, if you like great thrash, even, you know, I would hesitate to recommend this for someone who's purely like a heavy metal fan. It'll probably have too much howling and screeching for you, but the guitar work here does have moments where it's just like great heavy metal worship. So Mongrels Cross 2020, check that one out. Next up, I have some sludge / doom for you. So this is Aztakea, and they're out of Sweden, and definitely play a blend of sludge and doom that's probably a mix of somewhere between Electric Wizard and Iron Monkey. It's got enough of aggression that you can feel sort of that punk ethos. Here we have like a smoke vinyl there. But the sound is, you know, so heavily rooted in doom that it's probably closer to that metal side of the spectrum than it is the punk. By comparison to like Resent, which I had talked about in the earlier episode, which is like pure, you know, sludge and sort of power violence punk. It doesn't have a lot of that like doom, you know, coming along the heritage of the blues. You can hear a little bit of the blues with this project. Really cool album artwork as well there. I believe, maybe forgot to mention, so The Crawling Chaos is the album title, and I believe that's a Lovecraft reference. But like I was saying, you could hear elements a little bit of the blues, or at least that heritage, right? Like Sabbath to Electric Wizard to Aztakea. But you know, if you flip over to side B, it starts with Domination, and then it turns to Annihilation, and it's got a little bit of like a crust punk, sort of like upbeat section to it. So it's not completely, you know, concentrated on that sort of doom blues side. It's got some punk to it as well. The vocals are super aggressive, so it's not like a clean song sort of vocals. One of the heaviest records I listened to this year. The album artwork just absolutely sold me. Like, that's got to be something heavy, and it delivered for sure. If you like your sludge a bit more on the aggressive side and super heavy, as opposed to something like warm and a little bit stonerish, this is gonna absolutely deliver for you. I believe an independent release, so KFT picked this up for distribution and pressed it to vinyl, but I believe the band's still unsigned, so independent artists, if you want to support them. I think the vinyl, there's a few of them left, but otherwise you can find them on Bandcamp, and I will link to all the artists and projects here later on. Next up, the Spirit Cabinet, Bloodlines. So this is a Doom project, or kind of almost you could say Epic Doom to sort of black metal. It's probably closer to just the more traditional Doom. The vocal range is, he's capable of doing something a little bit cleaner, but if you're like, I think it's probably better to call this like a Candlemass influence band rather than something like Solitude Eternus. But it's just the name right here. So the vocalist from Urfaust, so we have another connection to Urfaust for this video. Snake, let me get this right here. Snake McRufflin, I believe that's the correct pronunciation. He's handling the vocals, and you can tell how talented he is. He's got all the Doom parts down, but they will just sort of launch into these black metal moments. The other band members play in different black metal projects, so you can tell this is sort of their like Doom project with all of their black metal passion poured into it. And it's just wild how they transition. By comparison to like Head of Demon or Faust Coven, bands that sort of, or even before that, you know, something like Mortuary Drape, where they blend sort of this occult black and Doom aesthetic into a single sort of artistic vision, this is much more polarized. So they have these sort of like volleys where you'll get these great sort of anthemic and heroic Doom parts, and then it'll just take off into black metal. The guitar section is far less focused on that. It's much more a vocal presence, but you can feel like that transition, and they're incredibly adept at sort of turning on a dime in terms of navigating the two genres. So having it be so polarized, at the same time they navigate it with an incredible sense of authority. It was a really cool listen. I would still call this a Doom record by comparison to a black record, but awesome stuff. Let me see if I missed here on my notes that I wanted to talk about. Yeah, so, if Urfaust seems a little bit too adventurous to you, this would be something to check out as well. If you like Doom metal, but you also listen to black metal, this would be another thing to check out for you. An interesting marrying of the two genres. One of my favorite Doom listens for sure. And once again, we're gonna get some colored vinyl for this one. I think this is sort of like a crimson marble here. I definitely need to get a new camera because whatever details I'm trying to accent don't show up on my camera on my phone. So down the road, hopefully the production values will pick up for you. Okay, so that is the Spirit Cabinet, and I just got one more here for you today. So this is Lone Wanderer, and this is titled The Faustian Winter. Originally a digital independent release, got picked up by Fucking Kill Records, which I believe is a label out of Germany. Cool gatefold here. This showed up in the, like, I want to say, came on my radar at around November or October, and it was just like the perfect timing for, as the weather descended and started to get cooler, it was the time for doom for sure, and this is a funeral doom record that delivered. The Atramentus album, Stygian, got a lot of recognition, and deservedly so. It's a great funeral doom record. This is a bit more elementary, you could say, in its sort of vision and delivery. It's very melodic, stripped down funeral doom. So it's not as, you listen to something like Mournful Congregation, that the mission statement of that band for me is just like an exploration of size and grandeur and scope, where there's a whole lot going on there, which is great. Whereas something like, this seems simplistic by comparison, and that's just for me part of what I enjoyed most about it. It just was absolutely concentrated on like a melodic, emotive piece, and once again here we get some cool vinyl. Now, Fucking Kill Records did 2 different colors here, so I get like this sort of icy blue, and then on the second LP, I know I'm re-sleeving on camera, please forgive me, the second one comes around in a different color. I don't know if that was kind of interesting, but this one's like, you can definitely tell, like, has some black and gray in it, a little bit less blue. Anyway, they still play and sound great. But yeah, so by comparison to like Mournful Congregation, or even like you listen to something like Evoken, which is, I love that funeral doom. It's multifaceted, right? There's a bunch of different things going on there, which is why you dig those records. This is just, very much big emotion, big melodic guitars. It never like takes off and does anything too sort of up tempo. It's just a slow sort of moving piece of funeral doom. So Lone Wanderer, the Faustian Winter, Fucking Kill Records. Check them out. That's all I got for you today. I need to flip the record over. I got a day off, so I may record a few of these today and send it out there for the YouTube world. But thank you for joining me. See you guys next time.